Yes,
वो तो बैक नहीं है यहाँ पे, ठीक है.
We should all mute our microphones. Anyway, when we start, I will be muting everyone. And by the way, we are going live on YouTube.
The session will be starting from 7:30, right? I mean, India time 7 and outside
सुना ही
7:30.
नहीं मेरा कुछ. आज में प्रॉब्लम आ गई है. ये नहीं.
Request everyone to please mute themselves. Okay, I am going to disable the waiting room, so now everybody can come in as and well. Yes, you may have the link, and here it goes. So we are live on YouTube, and the URL is shared with you. You can share it with anyone and everyone. We will be starting in less than a minute. I promise that. Okay, muting everyone except myself. Welcome to this session on impromptu speaking. Now, before I start, I have a question to ask every one of you. And please use the participants panel to answer the question so that I can see your raised hands and everything. How many of you are uneasy? I'm not going to say afraid, but uneasy to answer an impromptu question, a question that has just been thrown at you. How many of you are uneasy to answer? Okay, Anmol, I will take that as a raised hand. A lot of raised hands going on. I see at least 10. Okay, now the number is increasing. I like the fact that the numbers are increasing. You do realize that I am keeping a note of who all are not raising their hands. And at some point, I am going to give you a topic. Okay, I see quite a few hands go up. So why would you have this fear? Could you please type in the chat box as to why would you have this uneasiness, if not the fear? Could you just type in the chat box, share your ideas? Why would you have it? You may not know anything about the topic. And yes, Jose, that is actually a very unfortunate place to be with it. No, fear of giving a wrong answer. Yes, exactly. Do not understand where to take the topic. Vinita, you are somewhere on track. Topic may be too complicated, not so much knowledge about the topic. Making a fool of oneself. Well, Anmol, you are quite honest. You find it difficult to process my thoughts clearly. Yep. Okay, Harsh did not get the question. Harsh, why would you be uneasy about answering an impromptu question? Thank you. Thank you everyone for answering. I am just going to share my screen with you. Just give me 1 second. Right. Here is my presentation. Do a shift 5. And I share my screen. Sharing. So do you all see a white screen on your screens, everyone?
Yes.
Great. Now, of all the difficult questions that I have been asked in interviews, something like, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? I wish I could find the person who asked me this question back in 2015, because I don't think that that person would have envisioned where I am 5 years from 2015. Or tell me something about yourself. What are your greatest strengths? What are your greatest weaknesses? There is always that question that kind of stumps us. We don't know how to answer it. And a similar thing happened with me at an interview. I was asked a question that, given a choice, whether I would want to work for Google or whether I would want to work for Apple. Now, it was neither of the companies that asked me this question. It was not Google. It was definitely not Apple. But the question got me something like this. And all I could come up with was some incoherent stuff like this. Finally, I decided to blabber something out. And this is what I came out with. And I'm pretty sure that the interviewer wanted to do this. Not just to my resume, probably he would have done that to me also. But be that as it may, impromptu speaking is not easy. Not even for the most experienced of speakers. To understand why, let us go back to a rather primitive method of communication, the email. Assume that you are sending an email to dtm.rupinder@gmail.com. That happens to be my email address, by the way. And your subject line says Apple. But instead of Apple, the body of your email shows oranges. Apples, oranges. We've all been there, done that. Do you think I'm going to open this email the next time?
Definitely
Just
not.
like every email must have a subject, every speech must have a message. Every speech, every story, every presentation, every answer, every response, they must have a message. Most speeches fail because they deviate from their messages, just as ignored emails deviate from their subject. Now, every effective speech follows a BBC structure: the beginning, the body, and the conclusion. Now, each of these three must be aligned to your message. Now, if you're thinking that I came up with this sort of knowledge, no, I did not. And neither did somebody come up with it yesterday. Many years ago, the great Greek philosopher Aristotle said that there were 3 steps to telling a story. You tell them what you're going to tell them. Step number 2, you tell them. And step number 3, you tell them what you just told them. Simple, right? In the beginning, you tell them what you're going to tell them. Then you tell them, and finally you tell them what you just told them. What can possibly go wrong? A lot, actually, particularly if you don't focus on the message. When you don't focus on the message, you forget that your subject line is apple. And when you forget that your subject line is apple, you send oranges in the body. The same thing happens in a speech. You're asked to speak about an apple. You start speaking about an orange. Oops, my screen doesn't seem to be supporting me. Wait for the program to respond. Right, you start speaking about an orange. And there are times when you start speaking about an orange, your speech goes off on a tangent. And many times I've seen this. People start, when you ask people to talk about themselves, tell me something about yourself, people simply go off on a tangent. From apples, they'll meander to oranges. Do you think that is the worst that is going to happen? Actually, no. Sometimes you get adventurous. You start with an apple, you move on to oranges. Suddenly, you're talking about bananas. And then, through some convoluted route, you find yourself talking about spinach. Now, I often say that eating spinach will make you as strong as Popeye. It will also get you a girlfriend like Olive. And it will never help you in your arguments if you wanted to talk about apple in the first place. Sometimes we get, sometimes our adventure eventually takes a backseat. We start with an apple, meander our way to spinach somehow, and suddenly towards the end we realize, oh, we were supposed to talk about apple. We suddenly try to get back to apple. So how do we ensure that we don't make a salad out of a speech whose topic is apple? The answer lies in a cookie, more specifically Oreo. Now, this Oreo, while not a cookie, is a wonderful recipe for an impromptu speech. It stands for opinion, reason, example, opinion. So you state your opinion, you provide a reason for your opinion, you substantiate your reason with examples, and finally you restate or summarize your opinion. So for example, if I was to speak on apple, I would say that apple is my favorite fruit. It is my favorite fruit because I can consume an apple in so many different manners. For example, and this is where I go into examples, I can have an apple as a diced fruit salad sprinkled with a pinch of salt, or as apple juice, or as apple pie, or just bite into a ripe, juicy apple. And then I close to conclude, apple is my favorite fruit because I can have it in so many different manners. So there you have it. Opinion, reason, example, opinion. Now remember, you can provide more than one reasons, but in my opinion, you should also give an example for each. Also, the more examples you give, the more solid your reason becomes. The more reasons you give, the more solid your opinion becomes. In the example above, I give a total of 4 examples. Now, opinion, reason, example, opinion are nouns or naming words. A lot of us actually relate more to action words or verbs. So if you are one of those people who like to be told what to do, then you can remember Oreo as open, resonate, explain, and finally you outline. Regardless of how you look at it, whether as a noun form or as a verb form, Oreo is a very effective manner of impromptu responses. How does it correspond to what our friend Aristotle said? How our friend Aristotle said many centuries ago? Well, let's look at it. The O corresponds to the opening or the beginning, or where you tell them what you're going to tell them. The R and E together correspond to the body, where you tell them. And finally, the closing O stands for conclusion, or where you tell them what you just told them. And while you're at it, don't forget the message. Now, if this is too much to take in, remembering opinion, reason, example, opinion, or open, explain, resonate, explain, outline. Here is a cheat code. Here is a cheat sheet. Whatever question you are asked, you can answer it in the following manner. Now, is Oreo the only way to answer? No. Somebody mentioned the star method. That is another way. There is past, present, future. There is this versus that. But I find Oreo the best approach because I believe that everyone in this world has an opinion. I have an 8-year-old nephew at my house who has difficulty speaking. Even he has an opinion. A newborn child has an opinion that they express by either crying or at sometimes smiling or just keeping quiet. If you go to Facebook, you'll find 850 million and counting opinions, which is why I favor the Oreo approach. Everyone has an opinion. So if you are stuck at any point, you start your argument with one of these sentences. You say, in my opinion, or you say, I think that, or I believe, and then you provide your reason. I say so because my reason is, or my reasons are, or simply start with because, and then you move into your explanation. Let me explain, or for example, or I'm sure you have, blah, 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 or let me tell you a story, let me relate an experience, and then you close with to conclude, or say to summarize, or in summary, or summing up. Now, I'm not saying that this is a template that is written in stone, but a lot of good answers can be delivered if you follow this template. And that is exactly what we are going to do next. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to stop the sharing. I'm going to come back to my presentation, and I am going to my chat box, and I am copy pasting this method for everyone. Now, I need volunteers. I need somebody to whom I can give a topic and they can attempt. And I would like to see some raise of hands now, please. Himanshu is getting ready. Let's all have an applause for
Sumit, t-shirt दो ना मेरा t-shirt अंदर से.
Okay. Himanshu, you can unmute yourself. Himanshu, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. The topic I'm going to give you is one of my favorite topics. I give that topic to first timers. So Himanshu, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. The structure is right here out in front of you. Try your best.
Journey of 1,000 miles begin with the first step. If I say this line, uh, it's truly believed. But I believe this line truly, because when you want to grow in your life, when you want to go at some point, you have to start from some point. If I talk about myself, I am not a good reader. I was not a good reader, but slowly and gradually I become a good reader, because my brother told me that if you want to grow in life, the way is through the books, because the books is the only thing where you can learn and grow in your life. So I start reading books. Slowly and gradually, my communication level is increasing. I come to know about Toastmaster Club. I join there. I learn lots and lots of tips and tricks uh, how to present yourself in front of the audience, in front of the people. So I stick to this Toastmaster Club, and I'm getting benefit on the regular basis. As I joined Club for the first time, they give me a table topic, but I was fumbling at that point of time. But slowly and gradually, I improve myself. And if I talk about these days, yes, I have gone a few miles more. Like, I already passed few miles. I have to go more, but this is the only way to grow in your life. Like, as you say that you want to go to 1,000 miles, the first step is very important. So starting is the main thing and ending is one thing. So I'm on my way to there. So this is my opinion about this topic. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Himanshu. Let's have a round of applause for Himanshu first, for volunteering, for being the pioneer. Himanshu, if I was to analyze your speech, you stuck to the apple part for the most part, but somewhere I felt that you went out searching for oranges, and towards the end, you again came back to the apple part. So you started with your opinion, very well done. Somewhere in between, there was a reason, although that did not come out very clearly, but it was there. And then you delved into your story. My that your story, so there was one story where you were afraid about speaking, and there was another story where you were talking about Toastmasters. I felt both of them could have been made a little bit more compact, but also I also recognize the fact that this is impromptu speaking and it does not happen naturally. So keep on practicing, keep on following this approach. Anytime you don't have an idea of what to talk about, start with in my opinion, go to because, talk about let me explain, and then to conclude. Thank you so very much. Vinita raised her hand next, and then Josair has also requested. We'll go with Vinita. Vinita, are you ready?
Yeah.
Great.
Scared.
Oh, come on, don't be.
Yeah, tell me.
Vinita, I got this quote a few days back, and if you don't find it comfortable enough, you can tell me. I will change the topic. Okay. So Vinita, God is a comedian playing to an audience who does not know how to laugh. God is a comedian playing to an audience who does not know how to laugh. Vinita.
Good evening, everybody. In my opinion, God writes the drama, and everybody into it are playing a part. Sometimes the part which is given to us, we don't understand how to act it properly, as our guide has given the guidance. Sometimes we fumble, sometimes we do not act up to the mark, and we understand that there is something wrong with us. God is playing, is not giving us enough chance. Why this is happening to me? But at the end, if they play their part properly, they will find that God has made a story for each one of us, but we fail to give our best to the part, to the act which He has given to us. If I summarize, whatever situation we are into, we all understand there is some almighty, some superpower which is playing in everybody's life. But if we give our best to our situation, to tackle it, we can definitely come out of it, and we can say that there is almighty who is taking care of for all of us. Thank you. I don't know what I made of this topic.
I think, Vinita, you did make a wonderful salad. I think that was a wonderful attempt. You started off well. I believe that the ending could have been a little bit better. Probably you could have ended with the quote itself, but I also realized that it was not an easy quote to remember. So here is where I'm going to make a change. I'm actually going to copy paste the topic over here. Okay. So Jose, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Jose, your topic coming up on screen is this. Jose, speak only when your words are more beautiful than silence. Speak only when your words are more beautiful than silence. Jose.
Speak only when your words are more beautiful than silence is nothing but a political statement made by the leaders of the world to keep the people, the millions and trillions that do exist, in silence. We have a voice. Why don't we give a voice to our thoughts? Time has come today to raise our voices against the tyranny that this world is seeing. You see any part of the world, whether Black America matters, whether India is a secular nation or not, whether there is Islamization in the Middle East or not, everywhere it is the common man who needs to raise a voice. And what are we given? What are we given to understand? We are told that silence is more golden. Silence matters more than raising your voice. Sorry, I completely disagree with this content. We have a right to raise a voice. We have a right to speak. And that I'm doing right now, and that I shall always do, and that I want all my other fellow people in this world to stand up for. I thoroughly disagree with this topic that is given to me, that silence is golden and that raising a voice is harmful. Raise your voice, speak for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jose. And if you were able to see, there was an implicit, yes, round of applause. There was an implicit Oreo in there. And we also saw another technique, which is to invert the topic. It's not necessary that you agree with the topic. For example, I gave a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step to to a new Toastmaster, and he totally inverted the topic. He said that the first step, I believe, is very overrated. That people focus so much on the first step that they lose sight of the rest of the journey, and then he made it about the rest of the journey. So I think, Jose, very well done. Uh, my only suggestion to you would be, although you were politically correct, some people might interpret your topic in a different way, but as you said, nothing should stop you from raising your voice as long as you are raising it in the right manner. Thank you. Yes, Bhakti, the topic was something else. Still, he spoke great. He inverted the topic. And that is a perfectly valid thing to do, because in the end, he also did say that I do not agree with your topic, that speak only when your words are more beautiful than silence. All right. I have a few hands raised up, and then I also have a lot of people volunteering. We've got around 20 more minutes. We've got around 15 more minutes. So I'll try to accommodate as much as possible. I will ask Abba Ori to come up to the stage, please. Abba, are you ready?
Yes, Rupinder, hi.
Okay. Abha, your topic coming up. Abha, you cannot rush something you want to last forever. You cannot rush something you want to last forever. Abha.
When you want to enjoy something and you want to savor the flavors, whether it is that piece of golgappa that you're eating on the streets of Delhi, whether it is a love letter which you have received from your beloved, would you ever wish to rush through it? No, I don't think so. That lingering taste, that feeling of love, that feeling of want, that is something that I think we all wish to savor. Why rush into these things? You would like to rush through probably a traffic jam, which I'm sure none of us enjoy. You would want to rush through a bad movie or probably walk out of the hall. But something which is really dear to you, a lovely note written by your son from the boarding school. I would read it over and over and over again. And every time I read it, I am going to be literally trying to learn up each word that he's written. Why would you want to rush through these things? There is so much in life. Life gives us so much where you feel that you have no time. So for those matters, please brush it away, especially during these COVID times. You're getting so much time to spend with your family. Savor each moment. Don't ever say you're bored. Don't ever say you want this to pass. Please keep it close to your hearts. You're never going to get this time again. All too soon. It will be over. And then the day in the morning, going to work, getting things ready, probably being very snappy at your husband or your son or your maid, going to office, hearing your boss giving you some targets which you really don't want to, you don't wish to work on, and then coming back home so tired. And then again, the grind starts. Those are the times you're going to wish life was on slow motion. So, to all my friends out here, I would say savor each and everything, live your life every moment. It's precious. Don't rush through these things which matter. Over to you, Rupinder.
I'll tell you what I really liked about the speech. The fact that you mentioned Golgappas. You know, no, that was not the thing. Although I love food, I loved how you told it so poetically. You had a sense of, it was almost like a poetical recital. And that is where I have a recommendation for you. Your ending suddenly broke the rhythm. Though you tried to come back to it, but it kind of broke the rhythm. I loved your examples otherwise. I loved the rhythm, the reason. So somebody typed the rhythm was amazing. I was actually going to go with rhythm. I love the reason. So very well done. Thank you so very much. We have
Thank
Harsh.
you.
We
Thank
have
you.
Harsh Gupta coming up. Harsh, are you ready?
Yeah, hi, Rupinder. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, Harsh. It's a short one, a short topic for you. Harsh Gupta, forget injuries, never forget kindness. Forget injuries, never forget kindness. Topic coming up for you right now. Remember the Oreo approach. Go ahead.
In my opinion, what do we see every day? Whether we fall from a bed or we fall from the stairs, we always focus on the injuries. But do we understand that what are the things that we are doing to people?
Unmute, please. We cannot listen to you.
Harsh, you've gone on mute. Harsh, you've gone on mute.
I'm really sorry.
Can you start again? We were not able to hear you. Harsh, you've gone on mute once again.
I think I'm having.
Do you want to take off your headphones, because those are notorious devices. They do give me trouble as well. Ready?
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are audible. You're audible, Harsh. Let's go ahead. Harsh, are you having audio issues? I think Harsh is having audio issues. Now I will move on to Bhakti, who raised her hand. Bhakti, are you ready?
Yes, I just had a question. Sorry, I joined
Okay.
later. So, do we have to turn on the video chat while speaking?
Not necessarily, although we would prefer it, but not necessarily.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Yeah, please continue.
Preferable, but not necessarily. So you are ready for your topic?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Bhakti, a slightly difficult topic. I mean, I would have had trouble answering it. So Bhakti, learn to swallow your pride. It is non-fattening. Learn to swallow your pride. It is non-fattening. Coming up on screen for you.
Okay. So, I think starting from the topic, we should learn to swallow our pride. It's non-flattering. That means that whatever you are doing, whether it's in life or in work, you should always know that if you are being motivated for that, inspired for that from anyone, and you are doing good in that, and you know you are doing good and that you are being appreciated for that work, so you should know that if someone is appreciating for your work, you should not just climb up the tree and be like, oh my god, yes, I got it. You should not be egoistic with that thing. You should know that it is, I'm being appreciated. It's a prideful moment. And I have gained that. I've earned that. You should be prideful of, you should feel the pride and you should know that how to swallow that pride. It is non fattening, that's true. But like there is always a creamy layer, like on milk, on curd. So you should know that there is also creamy layer in your life, and that creamy layer is your ego, where it is like that you are feeling very high on your achievements. Well, you should always know you always have a vessel to learn, you always have a hunger to learn, and that should never go, because once that hunger is gone, you will lose that moment of achievement. Somehow, someday, some event, you will lose that moment of achievement, and that's why you should always know that you should swallow your pride. It's non-fattening. Thank you. Over to you, Rupinder.
Thank you, Bhakti. Great application of Oreo. My only recommendation to you would be that in between, I believe that you went a little bit prescriptive. When you were talking about hunger, that part about ego was brilliant, by the way. But when you went about talking about hunger, I felt that you became just that little bit prescriptive. Try to have examples instead of being prescriptive. Try telling a story, and because people learn to listen to stories. What they don't like is being sermonized. So when you become prescriptive, I'm not saying that you were sermonizing today, but when you become prescriptive, you tend to become a little bit sermonizing as well. So try to focus on that. And if you're not getting examples, it is fine. Just elaborate upon your example, and you should be all right. I hope that makes sense. I will now move on to Sumit Brijwani. Sumit, are you ready for your topic?
Yes, Rupinder, I am ready.
Okay, Sumit, I'm going to have to type this out. It's one of my favorites. So, Sumit, be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. Sumit.
Okay. Have you seen your fingers in your hand? That 5 fingers, or sorry, I'll say the 4 fingers in your hand. None of the fingers is same in size or same in texture. Every finger is same. So if the fingers of a human is not different, how we can assume that a person will be same with another person? Personality can never be Personality of one person can never be exactly similar to another person, and there is a reason behind it, because the environment every person is living, the upbringing which we have got from our surroundings, and the knowledge, the information, whatever thing what we are gathering, it's actually different, and it is different from the others. We cannot judge it. So yes, everyone is different from each other, and yes, so every personality is unique. So we should find that uniqueness within our personality. We should not try to copy someone else because someone is cool or someone is trending. We should find some uniqueness within our personality only. And as the topic suggests, it is great to be unique because every other trait has already been taken. So try to be different from others, not try to copy yourself, or like not try to imitate some others. So that's it from my side. Over to you, Rupinder.
Thank you, Sumit. My overall, you did very well. I loved how you started with a question. You started with an analogy that we have 5 fingers, and those 5 fingers are not similar to each other. And just as they are not similar to each other, you came out with the analogy that no two people can be the same, and that no two personalities can be the same. If there is a feedback I have for you on this speech that you gave, I would say that I would have wanted some more concrete examples. You did allude to them when you spoke about personalities, when you spoke about someone being cool, but some more real life examples. For example, you could have taken the name of probably a sports person or a film star and how people try to imitate them. People of my ages grew up watching Amitabh Bachchan and trying to try to mimic him as much as possible. So if you could bring out those kind of examples, those would become more concrete and more relatable examples. Other than that, wonderful speech. Thank you for sharing it with us. We have Janelle Dias, who's ready to attempt a topic. Janelle, are you ready?
Yes, Rupinder.
Okay. And Janelle, where are you from?
I'm from Mumbai. I'm
Oh,
from Accurus Mumbai Toastmasters Club. Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. Um, so, Janelle, this is a slightly controversial topic that actually me and my boss had a long discussion about it. So here is the topic coming up for you. And first you answer this and I'll tell you what was the discussion I had. Okay. So Janelle, it takes less time to do things right than to explain why you did it wrong. It takes less time to do things right than to explain why you did it wrong. Topic on your screen. All the best. Janelle.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rupinder, for this topic. Well, I completely agree with the topic, which says it takes less time to do things right than to explain why you did it wrong. because each person has a different perspective of looking at things, and each one looks at things from a different angle, which from everyone's perspective they feel they are right. So at that point of time, it is not a very easy task to gauge whether you are doing the right thing or not, because most of the times it happens that people are have to take decisions in a split second. Like right now we are talking impromptu, we are learning on impromptu how to speak impromptu. So we do not know whether we are saying the right thing or not, because at that moment what we speak or what we say or what we do is the right thing. So later on, for example, once this topic is over, I will say, oh, I should have said that, I should have done that, because only later on you realize that you resonate and you reason why you said that, what you said. Because if you are meant to do things in a nick of time, obviously decisions, strategies which are being made, they are time bound. There's a time frame, because you decide, take your own time. For example, any kind of work related decisions, or if you are planning for a project, you want it to be right, which is why you take time for it. So this is what I feel. And to conclude, I would say, no matter what you do, and whether it's right or wrong, as long as you feel it was in the best opinion for you and it worked in the benefits, I feel that's the best thing that you have done. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Janelle. Wonderful rendition of the Oreo example. I love the fact that you gave a live example that, look, we are doing this right now, and probably I don't know what is going to happen next. Just one recommendation. I felt that the to conclude towards the end was more of an afterthought. It was like, oh God, I've forgotten about that, and now I have to get back to that. Keep practicing, it will come to you. To the point that why I had this discussion, or why I had a discussion with my boss, he said that it takes less time to do things right than to explain why you did it wrong. And it was a jam-packed hall of around 50 people. And I just said, what is the fun in being first time right? And I did not realize that I said it out loud and that he heard it. We never got along after that. So
thank you, Rupinder, for the topic.
Two more topics, and I have Nimisha Singla and Anmol Lakra lined up. So we have time for just two more topics. Nimisha, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready. Hello, Rupinder.
Hi. I am actually going to copy paste the Oreo approach just in case you might have scrolled up a little bit. And your topic is coming up right now. So Nimisha, your topic is everyone wants a gold medal. Few train like an Olympian. Everyone wants a gold medal. Few people train like an Olympian. Nimisha.
Okay. So everyone wants a gold medal, but few train like an Olympian. Yes, everybody wants a gold medal in this race. But what they don't realize is that we can win a gold medal. Only one person can win that. Not everyone can have that. There are other people who have been in this race to gold medal, but they have not got it. So to be in a long race, you have to train for that. It's not a 100-meter race. It's a 400 into 100 relay. Life will give you so many stops. Life will give you so many hurdles. But we need to go through that. We need to get down. It will fall. It will throw us. We'll have to get back up and run to a long way. So gold medal, gold medal can be got. It can be bought from a shop, but it is only a showpiece. Yes, we do feel good that when we get a gold medal, okay, for some time. But what is the use of that? But if we fall off the second time, and after that we are not able to get up again. So gold medal is important, but not in the long race. For that, I will say that you get ready for the Olympian race, for the long runs, and not for just short ones and fall and die very small. Go for a long run and have your Olympian medal, not the gold one. Over to you, Rupinder.
Nimisha, wonderful. Only yesterday did I hear Sandeep Raturi give a speech along similar lines, and that was just as enjoyable. Your examples were good. In fact, you gave a counter example that a gold medal can be bought from a shop and kept on your mantelpiece. I felt that somewhere a person you really admire, somewhere a sports person you really admire, you could have talked about the struggles, right? For example, I would say Mahendra Singh Dhoni has won 2 World Cups for India, but everybody sees those World Cup wins. Nobody sees the years of effort that went into that. So some example like that would have enhanced this a little bit more. Anmol, topic coming up for you. Are you ready?
Yes, yes, yes.
All righty, and this is the last topic for the day. Anmol, this is a quote by Mike Tyson, who was a boxer. Actually, I believe that he is a boxer since he's up for another boxing match somewhere.
Yes.
I don't know how he's going to do that. But it is about planning. Okay. A very counterintuitive quote about a planning, and that is your topic. Anmol Lakra, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. Everyone has a plan till they get punched in the mouth. Anmol Lakra. On your screen.
I agree with this.
I think you agreed with it a little too much, Anmol. You lost audio. Go ahead.
Get a car by the age of 30. I will get my own house. By in between, I'll marry also. By 35, I'll have kids. But once he goes to a doctor and the doctor says at the age of 30 that you only have 2 years to live and you don't have your car and you don't have your wife as yet. So what all will you do? The life punched you on the face. And at that moment, you realize that eventually not each and everything pans out. With my own example, like last week, I was conducting a meeting at Toastmasters and my team out backed out at 11:25 a.m. He said that I won't be able to make it. So being the senior most member, I had to fill in for that person. And I was all prepared that, okay, I'll chill around in this meeting. I'll keep my video off. But it didn't pan out that way. So for me, life is nothing. You plan everything. And brilliantly, a person has quoted this, that man proposes, man plans, but God disposes it of. So as Mike Tyson said, once you're punched in the face, so life will keep on punching you in the face. Always have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G ready. If not, use that Oreo approach. Thank you. Over to you, Rupinder.
Thank you so very much, Anmol. Wonderful topic. Although we lost you in between, I think you kind of got overexcited and perhaps you lost bandwidth or whatever. But I think that was a very good rendition. The way you spoke, it was an excellent rendition of the topic. You followed the Oreo approach. And moreover, you gave a personal example. And people relate to personal examples very well. The best stories that you can tell are the stories about yourself. Yes, Mohit, wonderful example. Great job there, Anmol. And now I am going to return you to my boring presentation, after which I'll have a question and answers session with everyone. I just have to share my screen once again. Yes. As Barack Obama said, yes, we can. Yes, I can. So are you able to look at the slide that says if everything fails? Are you able to view my screen? Just
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Yes,
So
it's visible.
So where can you use Oreo? I believe you can use Oreo wherever there is an impromptu speaking opportunity. You can use it to answer interview questions. You can use it when you're participating in group discussions. Even while making elevator pitches, maybe you run across your CEO in an elevator and you or your benefactor and you want to make a pitch about an idea, you can use the Oreo approach. whenever you want to put across a point, or whenever you want to negotiate the best outcome, or even when you are trying to make a choice. When somebody, okay, and don't take it too literally. Somebody asks you that whether you will have tea or whether you will have coffee. Don't go all Oreo on that. In my opinion, I would love to have tea. The reason for that is that I had coffee in the morning, for example, and then you know where it goes. Do not try to do that. But when you're trying to make a choice, when somebody asks you that, would you rather do this or would you rather do that? Then you can use the Oreo approach. Moving on. Now, I believe that we started with interview questions. You can answer these. Tell me something about yourself. Uh, the one that I found the most irritating one was, why should I hire you? And my answer usually was that, why did you even call me? As you can see, I was never very popular with the interviewers. One of them wanted to bite my head off. So, speaking of choices, let's return to our original question, which is whether I would have wanted to work for Google or Apple. Unfortunately, at that time, I did not have the foresight of Oreo. Now, I can answer that question in any which way possible. Whether I want to work for Google, whether I want to work for Apple, whether I don't want to work for Google and I want to work for Apple, whether I want to whether I don't want to work for Apple and I want to work for Google, or whether I want to work for both of them, or you know what, I don't even want to work for even one of them. I can answer it like that using the Oreo approach. Oreo is a very effective approach. And to the answer to the most obvious question, how can I be contacted? These are my contact details. And this is where I will take questions from the audience. So anyone who has any questions, we have around 6 minutes of time left. So anyone who has any questions?
Can I, Vinita?
Please, is that Sumit?
No, I'm Himanshu.
Yes, yes.
How to overcome our fear? Like we can speak on the regular basis, and some people are there who can judge us on the regular basis. But overcoming a fear, it's I believe, because I'm practicing this table topic session from last approximately 15 to 17 days. But the as you said that the Oreo approach, right, on the regular basis, I'll do that. But the fear of like what people say about me, I'm not able to like get out of it. So what can I do for that?
If I understand it correctly, you're talking about the fear of what will people say about you, right?
Right, right.
Is that your fear? Well, here is my counter question. How does it matter? Why is the opinion of others so important for you? Because if you look at it, you are trying to live your life the way others want you to live. You're not living your own life then. If you're just living your you and trust me, we do this in interviews. I know that we tend to make an impression. We cannot spend the rest of our life making an impression. Himanshu. Okay. So to your question, what will people think? You get out of that mindset. You focus on saying what you want to say, right? What is the worst that is going to happen? Somebody is going to reject, somebody is going to refuse. But what you are going to do is you are going to learn. And eventually you will hit upon the right answer at some point in time. Does that make sense? So if there is one learning I want you to take from this answer is that you cannot spend the rest of your life trying to impress people.
Exactly.
Some people are talking in Bangla. I just hope that you are praising me and not otherwise, but I will go with that. Vinita, you've raised a hand. Do you have your, do you have
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Actually, I have a weird problem. Toastmaster is a family, so I can open up with you people. Sometimes I go out of word. I mean, I have the idea, I have the thought, but I I don't understand how to put it in words. I mean, sometimes I go blank with words. I mean, this has happened. I was very good in speaking in my school days and college days, but uh, uh, of late these days, I don't know whether it is aging or what. I go out of words.
So you search for words while you are trying to
Yes,
while you're trying to speak.
yes.
Let me ask you a question. Is it your search for a perfect word that lets you down? Are you trying to look for the exact word for the situation? Does that happen? There
Sometimes
is
it
a word
happens
in
like
your
that.
head, but probably you want to use a better word. Is that the case?
Sometimes it happens like that, and sometimes I go totally blank about how should I take it forward.
Okay, I can answer about the first case where you are trying to look for a better word. I would suggest that go with the word that you have in mind, right? Uh, I think that the blanking out part happens because not only are you not able to find a better word, but you've also forgotten the word that you were actually going to say. And that happens to everyone. It happens to me also. If somebody was to break this conversation in between, I would have probably forgotten what I was talking about. And many times I ask people, what was I talking about? And then they come back to me and they were, oh, you were talking about this. So one thing that again I would always say that practice, number one. Number two, try using simple words at first. Okay. One thing that I also do is that I read a lot. And that reading part tries, succeeds in giving me some words that I would use. Last but not the least, I would suggest that learn one word every day and try to use it for that day as much as possible. All right. With this, what is going to happen is that your vocabulary is going to start building up, but you're not looking to build up your vocabulary. What you're trying to do is that you're trying to learn, get into a frame of mind where you get the appropriate word for each circumstance. All right. I have one more. I have time for just one more question. Sumit.
Rupenda, can I go with it?
Yes, Sumit, go ahead.
Okay. So Rupenda, what happens sometime like when a topic is given in table topic, forget about the context. I'm not able to get the meaning of the sentence also. And there might be a reason because of the vocabulary, and there might be a reason that the topic was so philosophical. So how to tackle that situation?
Sumit, there is a quote that God gave us 2 ears and one mouth for a reason, so that we listen more and we speak less. Forgetting a topic again, and this is something that I have fought with many contest chairs on, particularly when it comes to table topics. I have asked them to actually write down the topic and give it to you and take it back from you. I have asked them to keep it to less than 10 words. Keep the topic less than 10 words. One way that you can overcome it, Sumit, is try to read a quote every day. So, what will happen is that even if you are not able to understand the topic, you will be able to find a parallel quote. Okay, and probably you can speak about that particular quote. So, for example, today I gave a topic about that everybody wants a gold medal, but nobody wants to train like an Olympian. Put another way, obliquely, it can be the more you sweat in peace, the less you will bleed in war. Those two statements are somewhat similar, but just try reading a quote every day, you know, and there are various websites that you can go to. Read a quote every day, Sumit. When you read a quote every day, it will get you into the habit of uh, understanding how things work. Okay, how table topics work. You can relate to a table topic and then you can talk about it. I'm afraid that is all we have time for today, and we have